There is an historic meeting happening today in Cuba. The Pope and the leader of the Russian Orthodox Church, they're meeting on the communist island.
Yeah, the Pope is on his way right now, and the Patriarch arrived yesterday afternoon. The one and only is in the island nation to witness this history. Local 10 News reporter Hatzel Vela is live from Jose Marti International Airport in Havana. Hatzel.
JC, it's going to be a huge day for the world of Christianity. You have two religious leaders, one from the Orthodox Church, one from the Catholic Church, meeting for the first time in more than 1,000 years. Behind me, you see the plane that the Patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church used to get here to Jose Marti International Airport. We're here on the tarmac here in Havana. Let's take you to some video, though. Take you back a little bit, a couple hours back, to Rome. That's where you're going to see Pope Francis departing Rome, Italy, on his way now to Havana. He is expected to arrive here sometime at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. At that point, he will be meeting with Patriarch of the Russian Orthodox Church, something that he's been wanting to do for quite some time, since his election, and we understand this is something that even Pope John Paul II wanted to do as well, but never got accomplished. So it took a little bit of diplomacy and some coincidence that the both are meeting. The goal here is to unite both churches. I spoke to a priest who says there really isn't much differences between the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church, but there was a rupture back in 1054, what they call the schism, I should say, a fight really over politics and some doctrine. Let's go ahead and show you some video of the Patriarch arriving yesterday at around 3:45 in the afternoon. He was greeted by President Raul Castro. He had some warm things to say to the Cuban people, and then he headed off. But we understand it's going to be a full day for him. Starting at 8 in the morning, he's going to go to the Plaza de la Revolución. He's going to lay a wreath for the monument of Jose Marti. That's just the beginning, though, because then his day is full of events, including coming back here to the airport, where he will greet his fellow religious leader, Pope Francis, for that historic meeting. The meeting, we're not sure how long it will take, but we understand at some point they're going to issue a declaration likely denouncing the persecution of Christians in the Middle East. So for the first time, two religious leaders coming together and talking about their differences and hoping to move forward so that these two religions can come forward and stay ahead of the game and really denounce what's happening in the Middle East. JC and Eric?
And that's a why Havana? I know Patriarch Kirill was scheduled to be there, but Pope Francis certainly wasn't. Why come all the way around the world to have that meeting at that location?
Sure. Well, we understand it's a bit of a diplomacy here involved. Remember, Raul Castro sought the help of Pope Francis when they were trying to better relations between Cuba and the U.S. So it's almost like now Raul Castro is helping the Pope get this underway, get this under his wing. So it's a bit of diplomacy, and like you mentioned, also coincidence, because the Pope was already on his way to Mexico, so he decided to make a pit stop of sorts to stop here and get that meeting under his belt and make sure that he can sort of check that off his list and say, we have done this, something that they wanted to do for such a long time. And again, Raul Castro, we understand, played a role in that meeting, because let's remember, Eric, Cuba and Russia have had a long-time partnership dating back to the revolution, so it is something that was easy in a way for both leaders to put together.
Okay, Hatzel, before we let you go, we know that this is a Pope of action, and we've seen the diplomacy you're talking about rather quickly, actually. When you got there yesterday, you saw something interesting as far as really seeing changes in the island nation.
You know, JC and Eric, we always see changes every time we've come. Last time we were here, we saw the addition of Wi-Fi in certain neighborhoods, and every time there's something that we didn't see last time. As we were driving along what they call Avenida del Puerto, Port Avenue, and here in Havana, we saw this massive cruise ship. Now, for you and I, that's something common. We see it every day in the Port of Miami or Port Everglades, 5 different ships. But for folks here in Havana, it's quite a sight to see. You're looking at the video right now. It's called the MSC Opera. It is the largest to ever dock here in Cuba. Havana is now the ship's port of call for its winter season in the Caribbean. That's happening until April. Now, this ship stops in Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and Mexico. And get this, it holds about 2,600 passengers, mostly from Europe, Italy, Germany, France, Spain, and England. Tourists, we're told, spend about 2 days and nights here in Havana. We spoke to one German couple who says that while Cuba is beautiful, we know this, right? So much needs to change.
We are disappointed a little bit because it's all very dirty, very broken, and I think there is much work for the people here.
I think it's not the right way. The socialism, it's better when they have their own decision, what they can do and how much money they can earn. And I think that's important for Cuba.
And to give you sort of a scope of what's happening here in terms of tourism, just last year, Cuba saw about 3 million tourists, so a lot of it likely linked to the new development with the relations with the U.S. But we're going to stay here on the tarmac of Jose Marti International Airport and bring you all the pictures as Pope Francis arrives later on today. But for now, reporting live in Havana, Hatzel Vela, Local 10 News.
Looking forward to it, Hatzel. Thank you so much.
And the Pope landing there at Jose Marti Airport this afternoon. One and only will be there for that moment. You'll see it when we do. Tune in for updates live throughout the day on this historic meeting.